six-figure business went under, starting from scratch. And that was hard. It was hard to let go of the other business and not try and rebuild it. I had to build a consultancy business from scratch, which had gone from a recurring revenue business to one where I had to sell every time to kind of make my money. I definitely wasn't honest with my partner around what that meant financially, or what had happened, or just what had happened, which is a ridiculous thing to have done. I probably should have come straight out and gone, "And you know that six-figure business? Well, it's not a six-figure business anymore. I'm starting from scratch."
Hello everyone, I'm Mark Tuxford and welcome to my podcast, People Behind Brands. Brought to you by Making Websites Better. In each episode, I'm joined by an inspirational guest to hear more about their individual life lessons and how it shaped them into who they are today. To never miss an episode, subscribe to our exclusive content now and follow us on our social media platforms. People Behind Brands, life lessons from the world of business. How does your business generate regular referrals? Collaboration is the name of the game with our latest guest, Dave Plunkett from Collaboration Junkie. Dave is full of high energy and genuinely loves what he does when it comes to creating strategic referral partnerships. But it's not been all plain sailing. Dave opens up about his past struggles of fronting his own business, watching it crash and burn before rebuilding his legacy once more. In the process, Dave's mental health took a turn and owes his success to a better work-life balance with a purpose of providing for his young family that drives him forward on a daily basis. A funny, heartwarming episode with the king of referrals, who shares his life lessons from the world of business.
Dave, welcome to People Behind Brands podcast. How you doing?
I am good. Thanks for having me, Mark. I'm good. Yeah, and you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Where is it you're joining from us today?
I am joining from the shoffice at the bottom of my garden in sunny North Wiltshire, a place called Calne in the North Wiltshire countryside. So,
excellent. You call it a shoffice?
Yes. It did used to be a shed, and then obviously it's now been clad and powered and everything else. So it's my shoffice.
Yeah, it looks like a nice little shoffice. I can see that there's an Eric Cantona picture on the wall there.
A signed Eric Cantona picture on the wall, and the little picture within the picture is me stood with Eric when I met him. So,
nice.
So yes, and then the photo that's just out of shot is Rooney's overhead kick against Man City. So
yeah, it's a great goal. Yeah, I remember that. So you must be a United fan then.
I am indeed. Yes, a cautiously optimistic Man United fan, actually, after a few years of it not being so great. Last season wasn't brilliant, but cautiously optimistic, I would say.
So just to clear up any confusion and check the hearing is working for our listeners, today's episode isn't with British Labour Party politician David Plunkett. It's someone much more interesting. Today we chat with the Collaboration Junkie himself, Mr. Dave Plunkett. Collaboration Junkie is a brand dedicated to getting the world working more collaboratively with a heavy focus on lead generation and referrals. At Making Websites Better, we have collaborated with Dave as a strategic referral partner on our own processes and clients alike. Dave is truly at the very top of his game when it comes to the power of partnerships. With Dave's bubbly personality and endless smile, we will delve into his background and his unique story throughout our chat. So Dave, perhaps you could start by telling us more about Collaboration Junkie and give our listeners more context towards your brand. What is your specific role in this approach?
Will do. Can I first say, nice old school reference there. I used to get the David Plunkett one all the time, and now it's a rarity. So it actually makes me smile now when I hear it, rather than hearing it 3 times a week. Yeah. So essentially, we're Collaboration Junkie is a consultancy brand that educates people, businesses on how they can identify, nurture, and scale referral and partnership opportunities. And for me, referrals are where you get more introductions from your clients, your prospects, your wider network, anyone and everyone really. And partnerships is where you're working with other brands that have a vested interest in referring you, and they have the ability to do so on a consistent basis. So they're talking to your ideal clients at the ideal time to buy, on a consistent basis, and what you do is aligned, which means they're able to consistently refer you. And so both parts of my work are around getting more working through word of mouth, but how you work with your clients compared to how you work with partners is a different thing. And so I work with people on one of those two things. I do a bunch of public speaking around the edge of it, and I've got a couple of fractional head of partnership roles as well. But that's still large. That's still strategy. That's still strategy based, and it's all about connection. Mark, at the end of the day, it's very much in the educational space. People often think I make my money through making referrals and making connections, because I do it a lot, but I do it because I love it. It's a byproduct of what I do. The business helps people do it themselves. I'm sure you've heard the fish, teach a man how to fish and you feed him. I prefer the one which is give a man a mixtape and he'll be dancing for a night. Teach him how to mix and they'll be dancing for generations. So I prefer that I do the teaching part rather than the doing part.
Yeah, it's a great analogy, that. So how did you get started in the industry, and how did Collaboration Junkie come about?
So this was an interesting one, actually. There's a bit of an origin story that links in with this. So I'll do it as swiftly and as potted as I possibly can. I was working at the Chamber of Commerce and doing well, growing the particular chamber that I looked after, largely through just connecting people and then getting referrals, because I was offering, there was no real process around it. I just did it naturally, and we grew through referrals. And then another network, someone who ran another network that I knew through that, was turning his network into a membership organization, wanted me to come on board to help him do that. And so I did. I then progressed from working for him to with him to then being joint shareholder. But we grew that membership organization to almost 2,000 members, almost entirely through referrals and partnerships. That business then morphed into a business benefit business. So we had a business benefit marketplace that we gave to other people, and we worked with big brands, people like Yale and Regis and Volvo and global payment providers and all those sorts of people as their access point to the SME market. We had reach of almost 1 million small business owners, and so my whole business was based on partnerships, promoting other people's products to other people's customers. I got miserable running that business, Mark. It became very process driven rather than community driven, and I looked at what I knew lots about, and I knew lots about referrals. I knew lots about partnerships. For most people, it's where they get most of their work from, but there's not that many people that educate on it, and so I decided to go and do that myself. So I wanted to be excited about working about my role again, and so that's why I launched Collaboration Junkie. So everything I do is based on lived experience. It's based on real, first-hand, practical experience of been there and done it, mistakes made, successes won.
Yeah. So when businesses or organizations come to you to leverage their credibility for the next stage of growth, what key areas do you feel they need to consider in their approach?
So good question, actually, because all too often people don't consider the end goal, right? They rush into a particular, you must see all the time, Mark, in the work that you do, right? People have this tactic in mind, but they haven't really aligned that to their goals or their values or their vision, and it's not necessarily doomed to failure, but it's not going to get the results that it warrants, and it's exactly the same with me. So there's a couple of things. Firstly is they do need that specificity, that clarity around what are they actually looking to achieve from this, either around a particular target market that they're looking to approach, or set goals within that. So having a really clear understanding of what the end objective is absolutely vital.
So when you think about the kind of the growth of particular clients that you work with, what sort of businesses come to mind? What's your kind of sort of sweet spot, I guess, for clients to work with?
So So I do a lot of work with agencies and in general service businesses because that's where my background lies. But I've got an engineering client and a turf business as well because the laws are universal. But my main focus is agency and service, and then a bit of corporate work as well because that's where my background lies. But there is a core underlying thing here, and this comes back to the kind of the question that preceded it around what they need to think about, and that's what their values are. Because all the work that I do around referrals and partnerships is leveraging genuine, connected human relationships, and that takes more time to set up, right? It takes more effort to set up. It's easier to just go, here, do this outsourced bit of work for me, be that PPC or SEO or any other kind of outbound type stuff. If you want to really leverage referrals and partnerships, then that's a commitment. That's a commitment to going, we are going to put the time and effort in up front to value these relationships, because then that's going to pay us absolute dividends on the back end. I call it the AAA threat, right? Which it's not really a threat. It sounds like a WWE team or something, right? But automation, algorithms, AI, right? Now, I am not anti any of these things. They are wonderful things that will be able to advance humanity magnificently. And they can be weaved in to the work that I do. But I think people are using them in the wrong way, or some people are using them in the wrong way. There was a meme that went viral a few weeks back that was, I want AI to do my washing and ironing so that I can spend time on music and art, not the other way around, right? And it's that thing of, if you're someone that really values human connection and the power of that, and you're willing to put the effort in, well, that's a game that we can all win. The AI algorithm game is one that we're a bit more beholden to the powers that be on. The one thing that's always within our control is how we build, nurture, and leverage relationships. It's the oldest form of marketing. Instinctively in our tribal natures, it just takes a bit more effort to do up front.
Yeah, there's something that we say a lot at Making Websites Better, is that people buy from people, and I think that resonates with what you're saying. So how much of that do you believe in?
100%. There's the full saying, as popularized by Bob Berg, is all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people they know, like, and trust, right? And referrals and partnerships don't negate that know, like, trust, but they shortcut it massively because someone else has staked their reputation on that introduction. So that's absolutely at the core of what I believe. And whilst, if we want to make the most of it, I think there's this myth, Mark, that people think, oh, I've either got to let this stuff just happen organically, or I've got to have affiliate programs and ask everyone for leads and promise them I'll give them Amazon vouchers. And that's not the case. Like, that stuff's for brands that have lost touch with their customers and their relationships. There's this spot in the middle where actually it's just about being more intentional, Mark. I talk a lot about process, but it's about having processes behind the scenes, but it's still feeling really personal front of house. And it's just about being intentional. There's people out there that want to help you. So it's just helping them. It's helping them to help the people that want to help you to do so. And that comes from having some structure and some behaviors and just doing things in a more intentional way.
Just going back to your point about AI, do you embrace AI? Do you see it as something that can improve what you do, or do you see it as more of like a negative and it could be more of a threat to your role?
No, definitely not a threat. Well, it is definitely not a threat, because the people that will want to use it instead of what I do would never have been clients for me anyway. And if anything, I think it will benefit the people. Like that could actually benefit me, because I think there will be you're already starting to see it, a bit of a backlash against. You can almost see it on LinkedIn sometimes. You're like, that's two AI bots talking to each other, right? There is going to be this craving for real human connection as a reaction to people using AI in the wrong way, right? And AI, machine learning, whatever, has been around for years, right? It can do amazing things behind the scenes, unbelievable things behind the scenes. And the same with automation as well. Even within partnership programs, there are some things that you should template or automate because it just makes it easy and consistent. But you should do that to free yourself up to do the human connection piece, to spend the time doing the things that right now AI can't do. And I think that's the thing is that use it for what it's great at to free you up the time to do the stuff that you can do and enjoy and feel passionate about and should be doing.
Yeah, completely agree. Another area of your work is public speaking and event hosting. So talk to us about this side of your kind of profession.
Yeah, okay. So for me, the speaking is something that I really enjoy. Right back to my membership organization days, I didn't speak then, but I used to host the events because my business partner at the time was a really great speaker. And it's something that I've embraced. It's something at first I had to do and I felt quite nervous about, but now I love it. I still feel nervous before every talk because it's just a sign that you care, I think.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it. And I'm either talking about referrals, the who, why, what, when, how, and getting over the ick of asking and all that good stuff, or I'm talking on partnerships, and that's talking around my dance framework normally, which is discovery, assembly, nurturing, connection, and engagement. That's my process for strategic partnerships. So normally I'm talking on one of those two subjects or something around that edge. And I love it. It's something I do for other people's audiences. I run a monthly free webinar on each topic of my own as well, because for me, Mark, and I think it's if you're in the educator space, I think I'm a believer in giving your best stuff away for free, right? Because if people can go and use it and do it, wonderful. Again, they weren't ever going to really work with me anyway. The people that work with me are the people that hear me talk, like what I'm about, and want to work with me. I mean, my whole framework will be out in a book in the second half of the year, so they can buy it for a tenner, or however much it ends up going out at, right? Catch me on a good day, I'll probably give you a copy. The people that need my support are the people that want extra of my time or extra accountability or whatever it may be. So I really enjoy the speaking side because I get to offer value. I get to kind of hopefully inspire people to take action and make a positive impact in their business, because nothing that I do is rocket science. Nothing. And it used to hold me back, Mark. When I first launched the business, it really held me back around, isn't this all just obvious? It's common sense. But it's not common sense, it's experience. And now I love that what I do is so simple, because it means anyone I talk to can go and do the things I say really quickly and make an impact. And so I think that now it's a bit of a superpower, I think.
Well, when you think about what we've discussed so far in this episode, and your why or your purpose, why do you do what you do?
So I hinted at this in kind of how I got to doing what I do, but I wrestled for a while with purpose. I don't have this one around ending world poverty or anything like that, right? My purpose is in life, my ikigai, if you will, is pretty simple. I want to be excited by life, and I want other people I meet to be more excited about their life because they've met me, right? If more people than not get excited after they've spoken to me and I've helped do that, then Ace, I've had a positive impact on the world. And for me, the partnership piece and the referral piece that I do is my way of doing that within the business world. Because typically most business owners, they say they don't like sales, but I would say that's a lie. Most people don't like lead gen. They don't like the hustle, right? They don't like that piece. And referrals and partnerships is a wonderful way to do business because it's all done through those trusted relationships. So it's a great way of doing business. And so typically when I'm working with people, or even if they just come to hear me talk, they get excited about the opportunity. And when other people are excited about the opportunity, I love that. I get excited as well. So it really comes down to just kind of, we're here for a good time, not a long time, Mark. Right. And it really comes down to that around enjoying life. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah, no, I really like that sort of thought process you've got. I think as well, when we've met as well, and a lot of it has been through making websites better and Paul obviously as well. And even when I watch you speak to other people, I can see that people are empowered by what you've just discussed with them. Even if they don't work with you, they've enjoyed that conversation because you come across as somebody that has empowered them essentially. So it's quite nice, really.
Thank you. You know what? I'm going to very quickly add something in that there's nothing to do with what I do, but could be quite useful for some of your listeners. People used to say that about my energy in general all the time. and I could not accept it. I would bat it away. And a couple of years ago now, maybe, and different people will have different superpowers that they don't think are a superpower, but people will tell them are. And a couple of years ago, I decided, if that many people are telling me it's true, and I learned to say thank you. I learned to accept the compliment, and it is one of the most powerful things you can do is learn to accept compliment. Not in a big. I am a deeply, deeply flawed human being, Mark, and listeners. Like, there's a difference between accepting compliments and being an arrogant knobhead, right? Yeah. And I'm definitely not that. But the power to accept compliments, say thank you. So even you saying that, then just going, it's great. It's a really empowering thing to embrace that thing that other people say you're great at. Means you probably are.
Yeah, I think it's important to realise your strengths, but also your weaknesses and stuff like that. So yeah, but our podcast is founded upon honesty and how testing times have impacted, good or bad, on our personal lives. So away from business, can you tell us about a challenging time in your life that made you who you are today?
Oh, you know what? So it's linked to business, but it's not a business thing per se, right? Because I think when you run I've had team members and I've had businesses that are big teams. I've had big teams before and stuff like that. But when you're a business owner, your life is kind of linked in, right? And so I mentioned that I got miserable running the benefit business, which is why I started running this one. So had great home life, but was absolutely miserable at work. I was depressed, right? I think never a diagnosis, and that was hard. And so I launched the business I run now just before COVID. And the intention was to let the previous business, which was a 6-figure business, trickle down while I built the consultancy brand up. But COVID came along, wiped out 95% of the revenue in the other business within 2 months. It was too reliant on a handful of key customers and partners, which I knew. I just did nothing about it because I was miserable running it. And so that was tough because not wife at the time, two kids at the time rather than the 3 I've got now, mortgage to pay, all that sort of stuff. And 6-figure business went under, starting from scratch. And that was hard. It was hard to let go of the other business and not try and rebuild it. I had to build a consultancy business from scratch, which had gone from a recurring revenue business to one where I had to sell every time to kind of make my money. I definitely wasn't honest with my partner around what that meant financially, or what had happened, or just what had happened, which is a ridiculous thing to have done. I probably should have come straight out and gone, and you know that 6-figure business, well, it's not a 6-figure business anymore, and I'm starting from scratch. And I didn't think I realized, but I think it's because I didn't realize how big a transition it would be from falling into being a business owner to now building one on my own design. And I'm a bit of a people pleaser, so I tried to be all things to all people. I wasn't clear enough, I wasn't selling enough. So while it was really exciting, the launch of my business and the early days, it was a really tough time financially, and probably there was a lag of maybe 6 months before I went, oh shit, actually times aren't great now, I'm gonna have to really do something here. And that's hard, because coming back to the energy thing, I am known as someone who's full of energy and positive, and I am. It's not a mask I put on, I naturally am. But then that it was a really hard and exhausting time, because I'm the high energy, and then there'll be times where I'm like, oh shit, times are hard, right? I've got all this stuff to juggle, and it can be hard as business owner if you've got, like, you need that's where you need a peer group. That's where you need other people who understand what you're going through and have got your back, and you can be open and honest with.
Is that something that is quite clear sometimes when you're working on your own? Or I know you've got clients, but obviously working on your own business and you don't have a team around you, can that make that more difficult, I suppose?
Massively, that's why I think you need to find a peer group, whether that's one that you create yourself from other people that you know, like, and trust. Maybe you've got a friend who's a business owner. For me, Actually joining this was what helped me realize that I was miserable and needed to launch Collaboration Junkie. I've gone down the formal route. There are a bunch of, whether they're called peer groups or mastermind groups, there are a bunch of organizations out there where you can go and meet with a select group of business owners every month who are in similar positions to you, maybe slightly before you're on the journey, maybe slightly after, and get what you're going through, right? And so it's a place where you can bring your challenges and get feedback. It's where you can not just share challenges as well, but I think share wins. So like, my wife's wonderful, but she's a nurse. She just does not get my world at all.
Yeah.
And like when I get a win in business, she's like, yeah, well done, darling. But she doesn't really get what it means.
Yeah.
Like so the challenges are hard, but having people that really can really celebrate your wins because they get it, that's equally important, I think.
Did you ever consider giving up? Because what I mean by that is that, you know, not doing it so much on your own anymore, but being, I don't know, part of a company or something like that.
So yes. Yeah, the answer is yes. Did I look at, like, when I was on LinkedIn, seeing partnership manager roles come up and going, I could go and get a partnership manager for email for a software company and earn a lot of money, right? I'd hate it.
Yeah.
Like for me, this is what got me through. And actually, my wife falling pregnant with our third child, which was a bonus baby, mine are 10, almost 8 and 2. And people go, were you brave or stupid? No, we were careless. And then we were committed. But it really added this focus of, right, no, Dave, get your ass into gear, like, and everything else. And really made me focus and go for it. But that work-life balance thing has always been it for me, Mark. Like, if anything, it's been the other way around for me, from the one that people were worrying about. And it comes back from my Chamber of Commerce days. I remember being sat in a Regis in Swindon on Windmill Park, chatting to a potential member. And he was a guy who was probably in his 50s, early 50s, ex-salesperson type thing, talking, and lovely guy. So nothing against him at all, but talking about he's launching his own business now, joining the chamber, wanting more time and flexibility because he'd missed his kids growing up. He'd been all over the world doing all that. And I remember I'd had countless conversations like that before. I remember going at that point, this is like 20 years ago, I'm never going to be that person. I'm never going to say those words. For me, my business will be successful. I'll be as successful as I want to make it. My kids are never going to grow up again. And so that balance piece is everything. And it just made me, and so while it's always there, I then kind of just refocused stuff and added some sharpness in and clarity of messaging, and just focused on what was important, which was them, and got myself through, I suppose.
Yeah, it sounds like that kind of purpose is why you do what you do is obviously to help your clients, but also some purpose for you in the sense that you've got to provide for your family and you want to be part of that. You know, you don't want to be an absent father, I guess. You want to be part of their lives growing up, as you just said. So it's a good sort of segue into my next question, really, is because obviously working on the business, you know, involves a lot of hours and drive, I imagine. But how much of an impact does that have on, you know, your wife and your children?
So you know what? Of course it has an impact, but it has more positive than negative. It has a more positive impact than if I went and got that partnership manager role.
Yeah.
Right. That would be, so I might go away for a couple of days at a time now. Like I might go into London and make the most of it and do 2 days in a row. Right. My wife won't be listening to this. Yes, I'll say it's more efficient, but also it's very nice to get a night away, Mark. Right. So, but equally, like, I'm at the bottom of the garden, so if the 2-year-olds bounce around the trampoline, I can nip out for 5 minutes and do that. I can do school runs. I can do all that wonderful stuff. That does mean I work funny hours sometimes. I might work late at night. In fact, there's a little line, there's a footer on my emails that I get complimented on quite a lot, and I got it off someone else, but essentially says, I sometimes work odd hours to suit my family life. If you get this email at one of those times, really don't feel any pressure to reply. Like, And I think that's the nice thing. That's the good thing about running a business is you can be flexible about where you want to do it. There was something really simple that just really resonated with me last year. I was listening to a book called The One Thing, which is a great book anyway. But the bit that was really powerful is they were talking about work-life balance. And that there isn't one, and that we should think of it like a seesaw. If you try and balance a seesaw exactly flat, that is hard work. It's just not going to happen, right? So instead of kind of working and then feeling guilty about you're not spending enough time with your kids or your wife or your partner, and then when you're with them, feeling guilty that your inbox is overflowing, just be all in. No matter what side you're on, be all in. And if that means there are certain times where you're 70% time is with work, that's fine, as long as in that 30% you are all in with your family, right? Or you're all in with whatever the non-work stuff is, and just be, whatever you're doing, be present. And I think that's the key factor, I think. So.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I suppose relating to, sort of family time as well, and, having a work-life balance, so to speak, what do you like to do, or how do you like to unwind away from Collaboration Junkie?
Do loads of walking, and again I combine that with work. I do about 15,000 steps a day now, and this is a thing for this year, because I spend some time unwinding, but I do all my LinkedIn content stuff like I do as I walk. So it's just part of what I do now to stay fit and healthy. But love being out in nature. I'm lucky enough to live in a gorgeous part of the world where the countryside is on my doorstep. Music, big one for me is music. COVID and then Remy, my youngest, coming along has meant that I've not been doing as much as I liked, but I met my wife on the way to a festival.
All right.
And we fell in love at that festival, despite having never met before. That was glorious, which was best of all. We've taken the kids back to Camp Festival. In fact, Remy was 8 weeks old when he went to his first Camp Festival for 5 days, because we already had the tickets before we knew we were having him. So very much music and festivals and gigs. Football, we've hinted at, although that wasn't particularly enjoyable last year until the FA Cup final. Feels like it's repeating itself with England, although again, if we have a happy final, then I'm sure won't worry about the struggle so far. So yeah, football, music, and a nice pint. I suppose that's the ones. Yeah,
sounds good. Yeah, a little trivia before we end the episode. I've started doing this with a lot of my guests. I've got some really, interesting and insightful answers, where we talk about a little bit more about your favourite things in life, essentially, in a quick fire round. So, first question: favourite food?
Oh, what? Steak.
Good choice. Steak and chips.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you like your steak?
Rare.
Yeah. Favorite alcoholic beverage?
Oh, easy. It would be I do like my whiskies, but it would be about 6.5% hazy New England IPA, like hipster beer. Yeah,
nice. Favorite band or artist from the world of music?
No, because like it depends on my mood. I used to be a big Chili Peppers fan. Still am, I suppose, but not. I love my Jamiroquai, Daft Punk. Like I love my house music as well. Yeah, no, I can't pick one on that. No,
I have to say Jamiroquai is underrated for me. I think he is top.
Perfect mix of band and dance for me. So it solves both my pieces. So
yeah, I completely agree. Favorite TV program or film?
Oh, film is True Romance. Big time Tina fan, so love True Romance. But I'm a big Bond and Star Wars nerd as well. So all that Disney stuff.
Favorite Bond at all?
Oh, so later, Sean Connery for me. Yeah, sure, Sean Connery.
Yeah. Favorite holiday destination?
Whichever one I'm on at that time.
So in terms of like a favorite place in the world, let me rephrase that question. I guess what's your favorite place in the world then?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good one. So somewhere I love, and we've just booked our weekend to go there this year, is the Gower. So kind of in Wales, just over to Swansea, like just two glorious beaches. Then they don't get that busy because not as many people know about them.
Yeah.
One of the beaches is always in Europe's world's top beaches list. It's just a glorious part of the world. And if you've got kids, they're amazing, because when you get to the beaches, there's nothing there. It's just a beach. So there's no, come on, okay. It's just glorious kind of, the Gower. Wonderful part of the world.
Favorite famous person?
I'm a big David Beckham fan. Huge David Beckham fan.
Well, I was going to ask you after this question, if you hadn't said a United player, who's going to be your favourite United player? But if it's probably Beckham, I'm assuming.
No, probably not.
Oh, okay.
Favourite United player? Giggs or Cantona?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest pet peeve?
Literally, the wrong use of the word literally. Like, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Any superstitions?
Whenever I record a podcast, I'm naked from the waist down.
I love that. Just as where you sat down there, really, isn't it? Favorite memory of your life?
I've already mentioned this. The weekend at Festival where me and my wife met and fell wildly in love.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice story, actually. How old were you both when you met?
So we were, so it's going to get even better. I'll do it very quickly. I would have been 32. She'd have been 30. We were going to the festival because we both split up with people, going with a group of about 30 mates, all from our local town. We were the only two people there who had never met. And we realized we'd even been at the same gigs, same venues as before. But somehow, in 20 years living in the place, I'd never met her. No one could believe it. But the minute we met, we fell in love.
Wow. So it's pretty much fate then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I get little goosebumps when I think of that. I haven't told that story in a long while.
Yeah, it's a nice little story. What inspires you on a daily basis?
Oh, what a lovely question. Nature, my clients and general audience, my kids, Remy especially. He's 2, just starting to talk, and he's an amazing age. So yeah.
Yeah. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Don't be a dick. I don't know who said that, but it should be a rule. It should be just a rule for life, right? There's be kind, right? But I think it's just don't be a dick.
Yeah, like that. I think that's going to be a Dave Plunkett underneath that, isn't it? Don't be a dick, Dave Plunkett. Last question. 3 guests you would invite to a dinner party. They can be friends. They can be famous people. It can be
this is good. On the way back from, I recently did a 3-peak, the Welsh 3 Peaks, and we had a long drive home. And I asked the other 2 people in the car this, but I gave them 6. So I'm going to go Louis Theroux.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Simon Reeve, who does all the travel documentaries and all that sort of stuff. And then I'm going to go my granddad, because it was only after he died when I was 14 or something, maybe a bit older, 16 maybe. But it was only after he died that we found out he did some amazing things after the war. He went into one of the concentration camps within a couple of days of the war finishing. He tracked someone down and took them to Nuremberg war trials. That did some amazing stuff that he never spoke about, but they say it skips a generation. So I would, if he was open to talking about it, I would be absolutely fascinated.
Yeah. Sounds like a good dinner party, that.
Yeah.
Look, Dave, honestly, it's been a real enjoyable episode to discuss your life lessons and obviously the brand journey. So I really do appreciate your time. To finish the episode, perhaps you'd like to tell our listeners where they can find you and Collaboration Junkie.
Yeah, so collaborationjunkie.com is the website. Junkie with an IE at the end. And look up Dave Plunkett on LinkedIn. There's not many Dave Plunketts, and there's only one Dave Plunkett Collaboration Junkie. That's where I post lots of stuff around partnerships, referrals. You can jump on board with my free webinars around them, all that good stuff.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. Join us next time for a brand new guest as we continue with more life lessons from the world of business.
So that's it for this episode of People Behind Brands. If you like what you heard today, do yourself a favour. Subscribe to our exclusive content now and follow us on our social media when you search People Behind Brands Podcast or at Podcast PBB. Join us next time for a brand new guest as we explore more life lessons from the world of business. We'll see you soon. Ta-da!